I'm joined on the set now by Monique el-Faizy, a journalist here at France 24 and the co-author of a new book about the U.S. president called All the President's Women, Donald Trump and the Making of a Predator. Monique, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So you co-wrote this book with Barry Levine. It's filled with claims from over 40 women, many of whom are speaking for the first time publicly. What kind of things are they accusing President Trump of?
It's a range of aberrant behavior from, name calling to grabbing somebody by the breast or the buttocks to much more serious crimes such as rape. There's an allegation of rape in there.
And many women have come out over the years making these kinds of allegations. Many critics are saying that perhaps these women, a rape allegation, someone could make it up. What was your proof?
Well, with all these things, they tend to be he said, she said things. There are actually multiple rape allegations. What we looked for in the stories that we put in the book, because there were many that we heard that we didn't put in the book, what we looked for were two things. A, did they fit the pattern? Because there were certain patterns that emerge. And B, I think all of the women that we spoke to had friends or family that they told of their account of their ordeal when it happened. So we did have corroborating interviews as well.
Would you say there's something that could stick to President Trump so far? So many things that so many women have thought would stick haven't. Is there a smoking gun in the book?
I mean, there have always been smoking guns, right? We spoke to a woman who came forward, who spoke to us, she'd never spoken before, who said that when she saw the Access Hollywood tape, the famous tape in which he grabbed of being able to sexually assault women, she said, oh my God, that's exactly what he did to me. That's exactly where he grabbed me. She's in the book. Her name's Karen Johnson. She was at a New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago, and he literally grabbed her by the genital, pushed her, pulled her behind tapestry, and forcibly kissed her. So if that's not a smoking gun, I don't know what is,
And it's incredible. I mean, here we are in the midst of the impeachment process. Could this book, could these allegations ever have an effect on impeachment, do you think?
I don't think that if something brings Donald Trump down, it will be allegations from women. I think that we've seen that society doesn't care, his base doesn't care. And I think that speaks to a general kind of acceptance of rape culture in American society. And that was never so clearly illustrated to me as when I was in New York doing the book tour. Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood mogul who is facing his own allegations of misconduct, sexual misconduct, was in a comedy club with his entourage, very comfortably ensconced in this comedy club. And the comedian, who was a woman who was on stage, said something about, realize we needed our rape whistles tonight. She got booed. A young woman in the audience got very upset that he was there, started yelling, I can't believe I'm standing 4 feet away from a rapist and nobody's saying anything. And she was asked to leave, and Weinstein and his entourage were allowed to stay. And to me, if that doesn't speak to the normalization of rape culture, I don't really know what does.
So why is that?
I think that people don't like to rock the boat. I think these are very powerful men. Often, you've got Weinstein, Cosby, Trump, Epstein. These are all wealthy, powerful men who are part of the establishment, and they protect their own.
In your book, obviously, you're saying the allegations against Trump became really big news with that infamous Access Hollywood tape. But in the book, the reporting finds also that Trump's alleged transgressions began a very long time ago. The book's called The Making of a Predator. Right. Give us some of the backstory, if you like.
Well, so what we wanted to do was not just look at what he's done, but what does it mean for American society and for women around the world, but also how did he become this man? Because, people aren't always like that. He was, there are lots of different factors. His parents had very traditional gendered relationship. He talks about his mother in his autobiography as being the ideal woman because she cooked and cleaned and darned socks. And he praises her for when his father had to run out to a business engagement, never getting upset about that, realizing that she was second, her role was secondary. So he already had these influences at home. And then when he was 13 years old, he was sent to military school, an all-male military academy, where his classmates talk about, they learned about women from Playboy magazine. So Trump really has those Playboy attitudes. His classmates talk about getting older and realizing that that is actually not the most enlightened way to see women. Trump seems never to have changed his attitudes. He seems really still to be stuck in the mindset of that 13-year-old boy that he was.
How do the official women in Donald Trump's life make peace with this, fit into all of this? Did you get any reaction from any of them?
We didn't. None of them would talk to us. We went to all of them and asked for comment. None of them would. We went to the White House. They wouldn't comment. I think that, we can infer things from seeing how they relate to him. Ivanka, who herself has been very sexualized by her father over and over and over. We talk about it in the book. He talks about what a great body she has, how hot she is. And there have been appearances of her with her of her with him on The View, and she just sort of brushes it off and laughs it off. Melania is much more of a mystery. She really keeps her own counsel on it. There's a lot of speculation that she's upset about these things, but she stays with him. So, I think that speaks for itself.
Monique, after the months of the reporting, the writing on this book, did you personally come to any realizations? Do you feel that you've been changed by writing this book?
Yeah, I had realizations and I was changed. I think that it's impossible to look at all these stories in the aggregate and think of them as anything other than systematic and a reflection of a society and institutions that allow this to go on, that protect powerful men to the detriment of vulnerable women. And so I really have started thinking that it's not individual men that we need to be looking at. Trump we're looking at because he is the president of the United States, but more than looking at the men who are accused of these things, we have to look at the society and the institutions that allow these things to go on unchecked for decades.
Monique el-Faizy, thank you so much for coming in to
Thanks for
speak to
having
us.
me.
The author of the new book, All the President's Women, Donald Trump and the Making of the Predator. Thanks so much.
Thank you.